Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the usual disclaimers, as per always. So apparently, finally, to talk off subject, the AH trolls have finally figured out that I exist. And in this strange world of once again being proved right, finding out that people found out about so-called Dr. Jessica Taylor and her views, like how supposedly autism doesn't exist and it's just the trauma coming out of me. All of a sudden, now I'm the one that they're trying to go after. But funny thing, me, I have pretty good instincts about folks. Always have. Since I was a bitty. So those are the people trying to quote treat me, telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. I can't even see their quotes because I've already blocked their stupidity probably some time ago. In particular, this is in regards to, we all found out the other day that Depp splintered his ankle. Then these idiots are sitting there trying, manifesting that it might end in his death. And I, of course, in particular with bones, because remember what my mom does for a living, pointed out the stupidity of thinking that somebody was going to die from a fracture like that. This is the modern world. It's not the Middle Ages, okay? And all of a sudden, they're quote tweeting me, probably saying the same inane bull that they spread amongst themselves about, you're just obsessively blah blah an abuser. No, Karen, I read. I've read since I was a little girl everything I could get my hands on. Therefore, as per usual, in my capacity as a self-proclaimed research monkey, I researched the trial. I saw the evidence. And just like here with the JRC, I call it like I see it. I support facts. I don't care about your opinions. I don't care about your agenda. I don't care about whatever you're trying to push. Don't care. You can insult me, my family, my looks. I don't care. Don't care. And to quote Ricky Gervais, I never did. Okay? I call it like I see it. I do not suffer fools gladly. Which is why, whenever these idiots decide to quote tweet me, I get to be excused from their inane nonsense. Because I've already caught you being stupid, and I've already blocked you. So whatever insulting little things that you've decided to write, you might as well have just been talking to your wall over there. Because I don't see it, and even if I did, I don't care. Okay? What I care about are the students that are still left in the hellhole known as the JRC, who are being tortured day in and day out. They're being starved. They're being shocked. They're having random staff jump at them. These are the things I care about. Opinions about me? You picked the wrong girl. You really did. Because I don't care. Alright? I don't care that you want to be all like, you should believe women no matter what. I don't believe humans. I believe evidence. I believe facts. Because you know why? They don't lie. People do. You can be anything, really. But if you straight up lie, and I see the hard, cold evidence that shows you're a liar, I'm not going to care about whatever the media is pushing. I'm going to call you a liar. If you're going to support this insane mantra, in spite of evidence and facts, I'm going to call you an idiot. Because you are. You're a gullible idiot. You keep trying to convince yourself you're woke while you blindly keep regurgitating headlines. That isn't woke. That is an individual who is asleep. But they are so locked inside their own heads and their own delusions with social media that telling them rah rah they're doing the right thing, that they don't even try. Don't even try. But anyways, I'm kind of done with my rant. Just to put it bluntly, as per usual, I'm very disappointed in humanity. There are reasons why I'm antisocial outside of the usual bigotry and stupidity that someone like me has to deal with on the daily, and this is it. Like, you all are not providing me with any reason whatsoever to want me to go out there and be social. None. Like, is this supposed to be the draw? Because if your whole idea is to try to make someone like me as stubborn, bullheaded, and independent thinking as me to kowtow and toe the line, you picked the wrong person. You really picked the wrong person. But rant over. On to the disclaimers, shall we? And let's get on to some things that actually matter in this world. Individuals who's actually been abused, who actually do have enough receipts to be called a mountain of evidence. In fact, these individuals can literally tell you with their full chests that their receipts have receipts and they wouldn't be lying. But anyways, in the description box, folks, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by Neuroclastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened Neuroclastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Well, folks, Neuroclastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there is Neuroclastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also included in there, the Ozark's first article in regards to the Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation, a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has impending, folks, over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor, who still lives on the premises with full access to the boys up on multiple, again, substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing after drag queens and trying and failing to defund public libraries and, for going after the Target because God forbid somebody buy a rainbow shirt, to actually do his job, and you've got you've got our governor. What can I say about our governor? Sent help. Please share that article on all your social media. We have, as always, the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masaba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, and the ever-present, self-explanatory Change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. You got young children present, folks, please use your headphones, all right? All right. Now, folks, as you know, this channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we do speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is advised, all right? All right, trigger warning. We're about to, again, descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. God help us all. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, pseudoscience, and lies, all from a man with a massive ego and even larger God complex. So, folks, square your shoulders and prepare yourself for the stupid, all right? All right, so here we go, where we left off last week. Creating social isolation to further maintain strict control, socialization among students, between students and staff, and among staff is also extremely limited. I'm going to dig into this before we go into the paragraph of nonsense we're getting ready to read. They would call it, but it's not proper socializing. You see, we have to teach them how to socialize properly, to give correct responses, to not go into a behavior. Now, they want you to assume that behavior is violent or inappropriate. It's usually not. Okay? Me engaging in a stem, such as you see me do on this channel when I do this, and I twist the ever-present hairbands on my hands for the strict purpose of helping me and allowing me to stem in a way that the normies don't know I'm doing it, they would call that inappropriate. Or hand flapping. Ways of acting that in no way puts anyone in any kind of danger. Their idea of proper socialization is so stunted and so backwards. These people will be asked by these so-called teachers, "What's your name?" If they simply just give their name, like any regular neurotypical out there would, they get some form of aversive for it, because that's not a proper response according to the JRC. You have to give your name in a full sentence, such as, "My name is so-and-so. How are you?" Yeah. You can learn more socialization for getting involved in a D&D campaign than you can through this school. I'm just saying. And shout out to D&D nerds. Solidarity. Because once again, we're being called Satanists. So, that's fun. Are we sure we're not in the 80s? Please, for the love of God, no one bring back big hair and spandex, because I'm traumatized from the last go-around. So let's read his response, shall we, and dissect it. There is no social isolation at the JRC. The students are never alone, and they have daily ongoing interaction with a number of JRC members and other students. What did I just say? First off, Doctor, are you aware of the fact that there are multiple forms of isolation? One of them that you never address is the fact that you've made this whole entire bad acid trip of a world for these poor individuals. Everything's in-house. There's a problem with that. There's a reason why ARC, although they do have social events, they have their own pool that you can engage in, but the model is doing things out of house so that the individual is going out into the community. When you have everything in-house, doctor, that isolates you from the rest of the community. That is a form of socialization, whether the person is literally alone or not. Now, let's talk about another form. There's another form of isolation, doctor. In particular, your type, where you will literally do what you call loss of privileges, where an individual is cornered off from the rest of the school population. They are not allowed to interact with their peers. They're not allowed to engage at all unless spoken to. If they speak in a manner that you approve of, you will then punish them, or as you would say, consequent them for it. And say, no talking out. That, sir, is a form of isolation. Okay? Please stop if you're stupid. Every last one of us who've worked that field who can see right through it. Most programs, folks, as I've said for a billion times as someone who works in this field, involve not everything being in-house, but that for services such as hair cutting, it will be used in the plan as a way to get them out to socialize out in the community. And why is this important, you may ask? What if they have a behavior? If you have no practice with socializing out there in the real world, doing everyday things such as going to get your hair cut and going grocery shopping, and everything's done in-house like at the JRC, and they leave your place, do you really think your so-called stunted version of social skills is going to work out there in the real world? Because I'm going to tell you no. In fact, it's going to paint an even larger target on your back than there already is, because you've already been isolated from the community. You do not socialize or speak in a way that the rest of your neurotypical peers do. I hate to say it, but you're going to be looked at as weird. Okay? The people who design these programs do not do so in a way that's based off of ABA, by the way, that is actually on par with how neurotypicals in real life actually socialize. Okay? It is an overly proper type of interaction that paints a larger target on you. It reinforces that you're different instead of helping people to understand, oh, they're just, as my mom would say, that's just Tiffany. That in no way isolated me. That in no way made me feel singled out. That made me feel like, oh, my mom just figured that's just me, and she accepts it as is. I hope you see where I'm going with that little rant there. This includes significant interactions with teacher, classmates, and housemates, and at least weekly interaction with their treating clinical or other school administrators. This is not socialization out in the community, doctor. This is what we're talking about. It's still isolation when you do not allow them to go out and actually meaningfully engage with the community. When everything is done in-house, it stunts people. Okay? It will stunt you if every interaction is something that is completely watched over with a microscope by you people. Okay? It is isolating when you keep them cooped up in the school and give them no interaction with the community except for when you approve of it. Okay? When you make them have to earn the right to engage with their community, there's something very wrong here. Moving on. And here, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Because some of the JRC students have a history of criminal activity and or gang involvement, JRC does closely monitor discussion and interactions between certain students and will include proper social interactions as a target behavior in certain students' behavior modification programs. What did I say at the beginning? This dude criminalizes us. He uses but you've had violent behavior, so if you do something inappropriate, I should get the consequent you. Now he's going to make you think that means because the student's suddenly getting aggressive in public. That's not what actually happens. If you remember previously when he says he consequences you if you begin a series that they think will lead to aggression. So just getting out of your seat for more than 3, or stopping work for more than 3 seconds. If you don't think that's not isolating, doctor, then I got beachfront property in Kansas with the most fantastic ocean view you've ever seen. Okay? Literally that level of dumb. Literally that level of dumb. But he talks about target behavior. He uses they might get aggressive as his excuse. That's it and that's all. His so-called social skills program is so stunted and so bad that I have the feeling a lot of these kids had to unlearn the so-called social skills that JRC taught them once they were able to go out in the community and interact with regular people again. You can't sit there and tell me you're teaching kids proper social skills when you're not allowing them out to go interact with the community like literally every other plan out there. Even old school ABA has a thing about going out in the community as a part of its program. It's still got more than enough issues in and of itself. We've already gone over some on this channel. But it's still a part of it. You can't isolate them in this school, tell them, well, they talk to their teachers and fellow students all the time, and tell me it's not isolating. You're keeping them in a box. You're keeping them in a box, even worse, under threat. And if they do not socialize and use all the words and moves that you tell them to, if they do not mask, you consequent them for it. And then you justify it by saying, but some of these students. Now let me get to another thing. You know what some students is code word for, right? Right? I've stated on this channel the majority of the people who get stuck on that GED are the students of color who come out of poor communities. When they talk about criminal activity, you're seeing this, right? Good, because I pointed it out numerous times. The doctor would sit there, no, you're twisting my words. Welcome to the fucking club, Karen. because you've been twisting advocates' words and lying about us for decades. The only difference is, doctor, we provide receipts and you don't. See? When over 75% of your population is people of color. When the population you slam on that device, good majority of them are a part of those communities. And then you use words like certain students. I see what I see. An autistic doctor. And in spite of society's best efforts, I see the patterns and I know where they lead. Okay? Please spare me. But let's move on, shall we? Some students are able to earn additional time with other students as programmed reward for not engaging in harmful behaviors or plotting to disrupt class or plotting to harm other students or staff. See? What did I say? What did I say? This doctor literally makes the kids earn the things that were already front and center in the plans and programs that literally everybody else uses. It shouldn't be an earned privilege to socialize. Have you met us, doctor? You think we willfully do this, particularly in a society that hates and vilifies us on a global media scale? No, okay? We don't. We don't like exposing ourselves to the hatred, the bigotry, the condescension. Okay? We basically feel like every time walking out our door, we have a giant freaking target on our back. All right? We're not going to fight to earn, to socialize. You on crack? Have you met people? Granted, I say this as somebody who's been through quite a bit and has my own trauma and issues. Granted, I'll give you that. I'm honest about it. But let's think about it here, shall we? Social interaction and integration out in the community is front and center in the majority of the programs that I have helped formulate and helped family learns how to enact in their homes. Trained community members, even hospital staff, police. It's front and center. Because as much as I may not like people, to get along in this world, you have to interact with them. And you have to know how to do that. Keeping a kid locked up in a tight box where their only interaction is with staff and the other students, where if they feel it's inappropriate, they then get to be consequented, is not what I would call an environment that fosters growth in the area of socialization. Know what I'm saying? But let's finish this paragraph here. The behavior treatment has been very effective in eliminating destructive behavior and accelerating positive behaviors such as proper classroom and other social behaviors. It's masking, doctor. You're forcing us to mask. And you're even forcing us to wear a mask that doesn't even resemble that of our neurotypical peers. Because you can't when you do that, when you place us in a box. There's not even anyone to emulate. There's no one to watch and then adapt their behaviors. That's how I formed my mask for everyone. I was a people watcher. I would find the person that was considered the most socially acceptable in my age group. I would watch them and then how they moved, how they talked, and it became a part of my public mask. Okay? Until my teenage years when I just decided, nope, my mom's mentality, that's my new mask. But you see what I'm saying, right? Their idea of proper interactions and proper normal socialization is some of the most abnormal, insane crap I have ever seen. And I have dealt with hardcore autism speaks loving Kool-Aid drinkers on a face-to-face basis. And what they call proper social behavior is bizarre even to them. Even to die-hard Kool-Aid drinking believers in ABA, putting these kids in a box and isolating them instead of helping them integrate out into the community, even if it is, as ABA would say, helping you mask, which is a bunch of bull in its own right. And I've gone over how exhausting and how psychologically damaging that is. But at the very least, you see my point. The core of every program, especially involving the neurodivergent kids, is community integration. When you don't do that, doctor, you're not just isolating them while they're in your school. You've isolated them for life. Let's finish this, shall we? JRC has a level system which, as the student's behavior improves, his or her privileges and opportunities improve. Here we go again. This is the doctor, once again, making us earn things that are front and center in every other single program. Okay? What do they harp on? Even what does Autism Speaks harp on every April? Social interaction, social integration into the community. We see it every April. Wrongly, horribly. It's awful. But you see where I'm going with here. JRC makes you earn it. They are backwards even within the medical model frame that they're trying to operate in. Their own fellow ABA practitioners think that they're backwards. But let's finish it, shall we? Certain socializing between staff and students is discouraged because we want our teachers and direct care staff members to maintain proper boundaries between themselves and the students. Socialization between staff members on duty is also discouraged because the staff members should be concentrating their attention during their working time on their teaching, behavior modification, and child care duties. Here we go again. They should be focusing on torturing you. They need to be paying attention so that when you do something that's autistic, even if it's not even harming anyone, you need to be consequented for that. You keep these kids in a box, doctor. You force your idea of so-called social skills on them, which is some of the most stunted, backwards form of social skills I've ever seen. And again, I've talked and examined ABA professionals up close and personal. And if it's even backwards from that standpoint, you're isolating them, doctor. You're isolating them from the real world. That is not what someone who claims to be working towards us being integrated out into the real world should be doing. You certainly shouldn't be saying you have to earn it as a reward, because by God, if it's a choice, especially me in high school, if it would have been, Tiffany, you have to earn the right to integrate into your community, my ass is going to blaze nothing but autistic for the rest of the day. I will stem for where everybody can see. I'm going to have all the so-called inappropriate behaviors just so I don't have to interact with these people. Okay? That was me in high school. I now see the benefits, but then again, person-centered planning, But you get my point. You can't keep these kids in a box, teach them stunted social skills, bizarre full sentences where simply saying 2 words would be a sufficient reply, and then get surprised when people call you out for socially as well as physically isolating these kids from the rest of the real world. Because that's what it is, doctor. And before we close out, let's talk about the other kind of form of isolation that this doctor does. When these kids get put on loss of privileges when they dare protest their treatment, they put them in a room with a staff member. A staff member where if this kid tries to complain in any form as to how they're being isolated and treated, will say no talking out. Who are not allowed to engage with other students without permission. There is no organic socializing taking place. Organic socializing. This is a term, if you can tell, that is used in other programs that try to nurture that, not try to put a stop to it. We're going to close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll be back with you. I need a cough drop. Allergies suck. Bye-bye, everyone.